Aloha, it's Jill, the Barefoot Grandma, coming to you from Kauai and continuing on with my videos on the topic of breast cancer, though it could cover cancer in general. I'm in the middle of doing an 18 video series called I Beat Cancer, and it is topic specific each video, so you can take these as you have time. Today will be a two-part video I'm going to be doing, and it's on relationships. Relationships can be challenging, obviously at the best of times, but particularly if you have cancer, they can be challenging because you are limited in energy, you have high emotions, and you have a lot of people around you. We don't even realize how many relationships we actually have sometimes. So I wanted to do today's videos on this important topic. So one of the things is it really is important to be proactive in managing your relationships and setting boundaries. Being able to set clear boundaries with people around you will protect your family and protect your energy and your health. Cancer just snowballs into our lives without any warning, and I really recommend taking time right at the beginning, even though it's chaotic and it's going to take you a minute to absorb this news, to really be strategic about your relationships, which is why I'm going to introduce an exercise today, because it can quickly get out of control and drain your energy, and there can be arguments that get started within your home because you're trying to do everything for everybody and meet everybody else's needs. So, the last thing that you want in your life at this time is a lot of drama and trying to manage other people's emotions. That's not your job right now, or that of your husband, wife, or partner. And the reality is, in doing this, in enacting this exercise, maybe if that works for you, the quality people in your life will understand. But you also have to accept, you're not going to be able to please everybody, and you may hurt somebody's feelings, but that's really on them. This is creating boundaries and expectations is something that good people will understand and support you in. So the exercise that I'd like to introduce to you is what I call the bullseye plan. And the most important thing about this plan is doing the exercise comprehensively and with brutal honesty, and I suggest doing it with your significant other or spouse, because they're your partner during this time, and this plan will benefit them as well. So what I'm going to want you to do, not right this second, but after you've watched this video, is to draw a bullseye, and what that's going to look like, and I'll show you a little example in a minute. It's going to have 4 concentric rings, and the center one, the bullseye, if you will be you. And then those rings broaden and the people within those rings based on your needs. So the first part of this exercise is sitting down with your person and listing everybody, and between the two of you, not just for yourself, but for them as well, that is in your life on a regular basis. And do this without judgment at this point, or without trying to put them into a category, but just free associate and create this list. And examples could be obviously our family, parents, sibling, aunties, uncles, grandparents, perhaps people in your faith community, social arenas, colleagues at work, etc. And then when you've done all of that, what I'd like you to do is, with your person, identify 1 or 2 people that I will call your CICs, which really stands for Commander-in-Chief, Communicator-in-Chief. And the importance of this person or persons is they're going to take some weight off your shoulders for you and your family, as the name might imply, in communication. And they're really, really important. And so what you're looking for when you're trying to identify this person or persons is, are they friendly? Would generally you say everybody likes them? Are they calm? Are they good communicators? That's the kind of person or persons that you want to try to find. And so, if you're doing two people, I would suggest maybe splitting it up in interpersonal communication and then one person doing your social media, if in fact social media is a part of your life or your family's life. And so like the first person that might be in charge of personal communications, they may be in charge of a phone tree, which it's important to have somebody that's able to connect with other people, because a lot of people are going to want to know how you're doing, and you're just not going to have the energy or interest, really, in cases, to talk to everybody. It's exhausting. So, written communication, cards, notes, maybe emails, or that person could, maybe that task could go down to social media. But one of the most important things for this person is assignments. And I am going to talk a little bit in a second about assignments. Assignments are super, I would say, one of the most important things that you could identify. Coming back to that in a minute. And then also, this person could maybe be in charge of checking in with some of your family. Could be parents or grandparents, if anybody's elderly or medically fragile. These people really love you, but it will be important to have somebody that can check in on them to see how they're doing and make sure they're doing okay with this process. And that shouldn't be you. You are going to need to focus on you, and this person will communicate with you about what may be, let's say if you have an elderly father, what he may be struggling with or might need. But your communication in chief person needs to be somebody that everybody likes and feels comfortable with. So that is, again, one or two people that you can identify. And let me show you just a little bit. I just kind of quickly drew this up. This is, that's you in the middle. You can still be happy. That's good. But let me talk to you a little bit about what this kind of intends to be. So obviously the person in the middle is you, and then that next concentric ring is like your spouse, husband, wife, or your partner, your children, maybe your best friend, maybe a grandmother or sister. And these are just examples. Whoever's in this ring is going to be specific to you and your person, your significant other. But I've also put, as you notice, a support group in there. And there will be another video that talks about support groups. But they, or that group, should be considered one of the most important people during this time, most important resources during this time. And then the next group, or the next ring, this is where you might put close friends, aunties, uncles. It's where your CIC would be, your communicator in chief, maybe your in-laws, maybe your parents, maybe the general faith community, or maybe closer faith community, other siblings, maybe your grandparents. And this group will likely be in and out of your life on a more regular basis. So not as closely or as much or as intimately as that first ring, but these are still really important people to you. And then that last ring is maybe your distant friends or family and friends that are out of the area, maybe a general faith community, maybe work colleagues, maybe your social communities. And then that last stratosphere out there, That's where I would put your drama-driven people in your life, people that are maybe a little toxic, even though they may be good people or they're important to you. Anybody that's like doom and gloom, really particularly needy people, negative people, or kind of self-centered people. And once again, this is really very tailored to you and your spouse partner. When I said earlier that being honest, this is an important reason for this, is this is a time in your life that you identify who those people are that can support you, can be positive, you can count on, that will show up when you need them. And you and your spouse or significant other may have a difference of opinion on that. And it's okay if you identify some people one way and they identify some people a different way. So what that would maybe look like, let's say, as an example, let's say if you're married, your husband or wife has a sister and they're really close to that person, but maybe you guys have never jived that well, and that's not really who you want around you, but it's really important support system for them. So that's trying to pick all these things apart. It's worth doing right up front, so that one of the biggest benefits is just not having arguments at home, because it is a stressful time, not just for you, but for your significant other. But I wanted to go back to assignments. You'll find, if you haven't already, that people want to help. People want to do things for you or your family, and they feel a little bit not sure how to talk sometimes, even to a person with cancer. They don't want to impose, but they would really love to help. And so to make it easier for them, to help them feel included in this process, it's good to also make a list of all the things that they could do, and let them do it. It's a time to allow other people to do for you. It's important for you to feel that love and accept that love and support, and it's equally important for them. So ideas in that area might be doing your lawn or the landscaping part of your home. It can be tidying up around your house, and maybe that's done when you're at a medical appointment. If you don't feel like you really want to talk with anybody, have your CIC person coordinate that when you're away. It could be bringing meals by. It could be picking kids up from school, or shuttling them to their activities, which is really important for them to continue to do. There, I'm sure, going to be some special people on your list that would be great support systems for your children, or perhaps elderly parents as well. But for kids specifically in mind, for having another set of adults that can do things with them, that's really important. So there's a myriad of things that really you could put in this category, and this is where your CIC can contact people and make assignments and help people participate in this process. And then the other thing, your social media. If you do social media, I recently had a good friend pass from cancer, and she had always utilized social media and did so right up to the very end. But I know her well enough, and her support system back in California, that she had everything, I think, pretty scheduled out, and she had good people around her, and there was somebody that took over her social media postings. But this doesn't have to be something that is just utilized if things go badly, but it could just be a positive post. If you do Facebook or you do Instagram or anything like that, having somebody that can do positive postings, or just say, hey, things are going good, or it was a little bit of a tough week, but we're doing okay. And for the people that are far away, or maybe not within those first 2 rings, this is a good way to keep everybody updated and let people know how you and your family are doing. So to enact all of this, though, I recommend maybe maybe just 1 or 2 letters. The first letter is something that you would send out to your second ring of people. And this is a good time to introduce your communicator in chief and let them know that the reason that you have a communicator in chief is that you and your family are going to really be focused on healing and conserving energy, and this special person in your life has agreed to pitch in and coordinate things that might need to get done, or to just let everybody know when is a good time to come visit. And not that you won't be communicating with people directly, but this person might also be doing it, and it's a good time to let people know if they want to help. This person might be the one that contacts them. And then a second letter that kind of goes out to that third ring, and maybe even some people out in the stratosphere area. Again, introducing your CIC and the reason for the CIC, but not really taking it any further. That you're not inviting this group of people to help per se. You're just letting them know that you're thinking about them, and this person's going to be helping you in the healing process and to conserve energy. And if anybody has any questions, this person can either help or help communicate them to you. And once again, it's not that you're going to be going into a dark hole, but there may be times that you need to take care of yourself, and this will be a right-hand person. So I think I'm going to make this video really short and cut this off at this time, and then I'll reopen the part 2 a little bit more into specifics with different kinds of relationships. So I hope maybe this exercise might be helpful to you. Any other strategies that you can put into place? The only thing I would say is to do it sooner than later, and I think you'll find it helps things go smoother. So with that, please like this video if you found it helpful. Share it if you know others that might like to join in on this video series. Please leave comments. Let me know how you're doing. If there's something you want me to cover, I'd be happy to do so. I respond to everybody. And with that, aloha, best wishes, and talk to you in just a minute.